Today I'm going to show you how I make these beaded charm clips. These work great as hair clips, but you can also attach them to hats, tote bags, and whatever else you can think of. First, you'll need a hair clip with a small hole at the top. That's where we'll attach the charm. Pick whatever beads you like. I went with these shiny metal ones today. You'll also need some thin wire, a pair of pliers, a chopstick, or a small round object like a paintbrush, and a toothpick. I started by setting up my workspace, and of course my cat Benny had to say hi. If you have any pets or young kids, be sure to clean up any wire scraps or loose beads so they can't accidentally eat them. For each clip, cut about 2 feet of wire, and try to give yourself a little more than what you think you'll need. As you make more of these, you'll start getting familiar with how much wire is needed for each one. Bend the wire about in half and wrap it around the chopstick 3 or 4 times to make a small ring. While holding the ring between your fingers or leaving it on the chopstick, take one end of the wire and loop it tightly through the ring a few times, and then repeat with the other end. This creates the top of the charm and the attachment point for the clip. Next, place the toothpick just below the ring and wrap the wire around it to create a small loop. These loops help to space out the beads and also add a nice detail. I like to do this between every bead. Now, start adding your beads. I usually work from a larger bead at the top to smaller ones, mixing up the colors and shapes throughout. Thread both ends of the wire through each bead, slide it into place, then make another loop with the toothpick before adding the next bead. After the last bead, make one final loop with the toothpick. Then, holding both ends of the wire together, wrap the wire around the bead sequence back up to the top. This helps everything stay in place. Then, split the wire ends apart and loop each one through the top ring several times, pulling tightly. Basically, we're attaching the bottom of the charm back up to the top. Once it's secure, trim the ends and use your pliers to tuck in any sharp points. Now, get about 8 inches of fresh wire. Thread it through the hole in the clip and then through the top ring, pulling it tight. Repeat with the other end of the wire to secure both sides. This part can be a little tricky, so use your hands or pliers, whatever works best. If you still have enough wire left from making the charm, you can skip the extra piece and use those ends to attach it to the clip instead. That's what I usually prefer to do. For the final step, wrap each wire end through the attachment loops 4 or 5 times to tighten everything up and give it a clean finish. Trim the excess wire and tuck in the sharp ends into the loops with your pliers. And there you go. You've just made your first beaded hair clip. This is just my own way of making them. There are so many different ways to use the wire and arrange beads for something like this. Don't be afraid to experiment and find a style that works for you. If you make one using this tutorial, I'd love to see it. Send a photo in the comments so I can check it out. Thanks for watching and see you next time.